Good morning. Have you heard the words, it's cancer, and it's not you, it's your child or loved one? I'm Andrea Richmond, anchorwoman at Love Beyond the Diagnosis, author of memoir Love Beyond Scope, and founder of the Courage Bear Project. Here we broadcast hope and dial into real stories of families navigating life after a cancer diagnosis. You'll find encouragement, storytelling, educational support, conversations with moms who know firsthand life beyond the diagnosis, and dialogue from leading voices who are making an impact on the standard of care for pediatric cancers. You will also find resources rooted in faith to help you breathe, rise, and thrive in the middle of it all. Because, Mama, you are not alone. I'm Andrea Richmond, and this is Love Beyond the Diagnosis, a space for others who have just stepped into the unimaginable. If you missed an episode, be sure to go back and check us out on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at Love Beyond the Diagnosis. Please like and follow me, Andrea Richmond, on my Facebook page for more updates as I continue to post information about my mission to serve mothers, caregivers, and their children navigating life beyond the cancer diagnosis. In the first 13 weeks of Love Beyond the Diagnosis, I'm sharing 13 letters of hope, messages spoken straight to the heart of every mama and family walking this difficult road. Each episode is a reminder you are not alone. Here you will hear the voice of love, honest conversations, and encouragement to keep going, all found in the beauty of community and connection with one another. So my fourth letter to you today, from Other Side Publishing, is about home and what I wished I knew on day one about home. Dear listener, home changes after diagnosis day. It's inevitable. What once felt warm and steady place of comfort, safety, and belonging, where you could be yourself, can suddenly feel like it's unraveling. Familiar and consistent schedules lost. Silence sometimes speaks louder than words. Words spoken may not make any sense, some unkind. A transition into a different, unrecognizable season of life. Many unknowns and an uncertain future. Our home, a place for rest and refuge from the world, was rumbling with new responsibilities and overwhelm. There was strict treatment protocol scheduled to follow, and it may not take place at home. Would I spend more time in the hospital or at home was one of the many questions I had on day one. Answers that would only be answered in time. I remember the first day well. I sat in the first room on the right side of the oncology clinic at Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh with my daughter, Sydney, our oldest daughter. She was beyond lethargic, 4 years old. It was September 7th, 2007, a Friday. Sydney attended 3 days of preschool, and we found out on that Friday after her first week of preschool, when the blood work came back, that she had the same cancer that her sister was diagnosed with 16 months before, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The whirlwind of medications, hospital charts, and sterile rooms replacing the comfort of being home, back and forth from the hospital at any given moment, from long days spent in the clinic to unexpected trips to the emergency room for fevers, seizures, blood in her urine, tingling sensation, listlessness, and pale, amongst other things. Months, long days, long stays away from home. But in reality, my home didn't crumble, but the rhythm of life changed. In the early days, I felt that my home was fragile, and the breaking inside of me was real, for sure. Home was still there, even though I didn't always recognize it around me or feel it inside. I didn't know how the very heartbeat of normal would return at the time, and I didn't always understand how rebuilding would take time and love far deeper than I'd ever known. So now I am here writing to you from the other side, and I can see clearly now that grace entered the cracks and love showed up in ways far more than I could ever imagine on day one. So today, I have a very special guest here. It's my mother-in-law, Sandy Richmond, also known AKA grandmama to her grandkids. She is now a retired teacher. She taught kindergarten in Raleigh County schools in West Virginia for 25 years, almost 30 years, 25 in kindergarten. She received the Golden Apple Award of Excellence. She is married to her husband, Jerry, her high school sweetheart, for 55 years this year. She has 2 amazing sons, one who I'm lucky enough to be married to. She loves to cook, bake shortening bread, sit and talk around the kitchen table over a cup of hot tea. In her spare time, she home cans apples, green beans, tomatoes from her garden, amongst other things. She has mastered the art of sewing and quilting. She not only makes quilts for her loved ones and family, but also creates beautiful quilts to donate to organizations like Quilts of Valor for veterans of war. She has spent her life creating a home filled with joy beyond measure. She has 7 grandchildren who she adores and gives endless love. Without any further introduction, good morning. Good morning. I think it's so amazing that you're sitting at your table this morning, but you forgot your cup of tea.
Yeah.
We might have to take a break for you to go grab a cup of hot tea. So, Grandma, this weekend, Jeff and I, your son, flew out to Vegas to spend some time with my brother and sister-in-law, and we had no plans of attending the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, but suddenly we found ourselves sitting at in this big, huge sphere and watching Wizard of Oz in 4D. That means you could feel it, you could see it. The wind was blowing, the sounds were coming from every direction, and you literally felt like you were on the set of the movie. You were right there with Dorothy walking the yellow brick road, as well as the beginning scene where her home is in this dream. She's dreaming that her house is like flying away. So the tornado, right? And Jeff, he quickly recalls his grandmother's love for the movie, and it just happened to be her birthday on October 19th. And as we sat there conversing, I was remembering vividly the picture on the wall in the triage room at Children's Hospital the day Sydney was diagnosed with leukemia. And on the wall, there was that picture of the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, and below it was inscribed, "There's no place like home." And I also thought of the time when Sydney dressed up for Halloween the year before she was diagnosed as Dorothy, and she had a basket with Toto, the ruby red slippers, and the blue checkered outfit. So, Grandma, we're going to talk today. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, and just to ask you about some of your memories of times really when I was not home, because I was either at the hospital with Lauren at an appointment, and or I was with Sydney at the hospital, and I was at the hospital with just Lauren, and you kept Tessa as well. After she was born 3 months before Sydney's diagnosis, so there's a 3-month-old baby that needed cared for when I could not be there. So I think what would be really amazing for an audience to hear is grandmother's love and how it walks through the door in the uncertainty of it all, and shows up. And maybe let's talk about what are some things that you felt that you really enjoyed, or that what you witnessed, and some things that you were able to do with your granddaughters during this time?
Well, I think I kind of saw my role as kind of like a teacher, where we're the surrogate parent. I just felt like I needed to give them the security that they needed with mom and dad gone all the time, or in and out. And so there was a lot of rocking and finger plays and Eric Carle books, and taking care of household things, grocery shopping, and those kind of things to keep the home running, in sort of normal a fashion as we could, with you all gone or in and out, and to relieve you all of those kinds.
Do you have like specific memories of, we talked before, we've come to this podcast this morning and this radio show, right? And, with this whole idea that you and Sydney both share the love of reading and reading books and watching movies
and music.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit about a time when you watched the movies together, and describe her and where she was at in treatment, and how you comforted her during that time.
Yeah. We watched a lot of children's movies and things like that, but was very sick with C. diff and was very lethargic, and had no interest in much of anything. And she was lying on the couch, and we had a little DVD portable player, and I was sitting in the floor by her head, and we just sat and watched that together, because we had lots of fun with the Wizard of Oz around the house. I said we ran or skipped laps around your house singing and following the yellow brick road, and but we kind of shared that fun of that movie. And that particular day, there wasn't much to give her any comfort to help her feel any better, except just sit there and share.
Yeah, really being able to get her mind away from her physical condition at that time. And I didly tell myself, or think about the times back then where it was hard for me to connect as a mother, because it just seemed like there were so many responsibilities, and making sure that just everything was in place that needed to be in place. Like,
I think it was hard for you to wind down, slow down, and have the calm that you needed to.
Right. Yeah, and my innate personality is that of busyness, and the kind of, I don't know, here and there and everywhere. And I love that you brought the calm to our home, and your love of just sitting, right, and being content to be in the home, and coming into our home. And I just, maybe at the time I didn't value it as much, and I wish, I think back, and if I could shed light to someone else walking through this situation right now, is that we all have our innate ways, right, and things that we really love to do, or the way we are, right. And I love that you could bring that calm, and you enjoyed the quiet, the rest, and Dr. Ritchie always called their oncologist that rest is medicine too, and creating in a home environment where a child can rest and not be expected to go and keep up with their siblings that are otherwise healthy is an important perspective to have.
I was raised in a very calm and peaceful home and atmosphere, and I think, I have my mother to thank for that. And so I get myself a lot of comfort in just being home and enjoying the things of home. So my role was perfectly, assigned, because that's what I love. And so I don't have to work at it, because it's just, how I was raised, and what I love. But, on the inside, I'm not so calm. I'm constantly thinking, what can I be doing? I need to bake this or cook that, or would this make her feel better, or that tastes good to her. The millions of cans of chicken noodle soup that we bought at 3:00 in the morning, heating up chicken noodle soup.
Chicken and star soup. So
yes, that's right. It was.
I remember him lined up on the grocery belt, and a giant.
Gosh, it was like 24 cans or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's just what I love. Nurturing is what I love. And I think that's what drew me to kindergarten children.
And we've talked a little bit about the examples of Mary and Martha in the Bible, and the one that you could most relate to. Would you like to talk maybe a little bit about that, and how that their influence and your faith helped you to have that outward appearance of calm, even though you were dealing inwardly with things that were, these are real. This was real life, and it was a real time for us to grieve as a family, right? And we all had a role in that new normal.
Well, I think as a grandparent, you're just agonizing over this dilemma for your grandchild. And I remember wishing that I could put my arm out there and then give me the chemo, if it would help her, and her not have to go through that. But as a parent, it was just as painful to watch my child. So I think a grandparent has this double hit of agony, through that. But my mother was definitely a Mary, and she was the one that would be sitting at the master's feet, listening and learning. And I see myself more as a Martha, that I'm too busy tending to everything and everybody to hear or listen. And I think on the outside, I look like I'm very calm, and but then on the inside, I'm not always. But
You're
but I see
secretly
myself
planning on the inside all kinds of activities
Yeah.
in the next move
Yeah.
while I'm
and having conversations in my head that I don't have out loud, because I don't want to add to the chaos or interject my thoughts when they aren't really going to solve anything, and they're just going to add to because it's a chaotic time for the
yeah,
house.
for sure.
And
The other thing I remember you like, we need to write that on the list, Andrea. And you would make my list for me because I would think of something randomly and you're like, okay, we're going to write that down. And then we're going to make one trip to the store instead of like,
you run 3 and 4 and 5 times a day.
Because I would forget everything. I was like,
yeah, and that was kind of your escape too, I think, to get out of the house for a little while, where yeah.
I think another funny thing, which, there has to be that humor that comes into the sadness, right? And what better thing than for a child to begin, going back to the movie, but Sydney related you to the character of Tin Man, because at that time you were struggling like with some of your knee and arthritis, and I just remember she started to like is Tin Man Grandma coming to stay?
Went from Grandma's short hair to Grandma Tin Man, huh?
Yeah. And of course, the Tin Man is one of the kindest members of Dorothy's group. And he has these rusty knees, right, that he's oiling. And you were able to always move through all of that with such grace. So, you just had this endless and selfless love for your grandchildren. As we're like wrapping it up here, I just want to maybe just briefly touch on when you weren't there physically, because you were still teaching, and all you so graciously when you were on vacations from school and you had time off and weekends in between, you were coming up to Pittsburgh from West Virginia. From
where our heart was. It's where our heart was. We had to, we couldn't just stay here.
Right. And when you weren't there, you were sending notes of encouragement, which I thought was so, and looking back, it was just, I've kept some of those notes of encouragement where Grandma loves you and you're a star, and to a sweet granddaughter, also with these handwritten notes of encouragement on each letter addressed to Sydney, like letting you know that I miss you, but I'll always smile when I think of you. And you told them about daily joy happening in your life. I watched a squirrel eat at our bird seed today, our bird feeder today. Oh, I watched a squirrel eat our bird seed today. I don't like it when he does that. Do they eat your bird seed too? So I even checked the brick ledge at the window, my kitchen table, and looked to ask for. Oh, he was climbing to the window and asking for more food. So you're telling them to stay happy and take their medicine.
Yeah, that was always a challenge. But I think for grandmothers that are across the country and can't be, we had the 5-7 hour drive, but some can't be there at all. But there are ways. And today there would be FaceTime and things like that where they could actually be there. But sending goodies, baked goods, and just ways to connect with them and give them a little comfort with cookies or whatever.
Or anything age appropriate, right? Any age appropriate
Toys and yeah.
Which, cancer spans from very young children, to teenagers and beyond. So these are what a wonderful day to have a discussion with you. Thank you, Grandmom, for coming on here. You're so brave. You're such a brave Grandmom, and you're so with it, right? Like you have the technology. I love that you said you had doctor's appointments now virtually on Zoom. Like we're living in a different age right now, and it is special, and we have new ways of connecting. Back when our kids were so sick, it was in person or just over the phone listening, but now, and by mail and snail mail. So, but now we have like many more ways to connect. So as the final part of the show, I just have 3 anchors that I offer all those who are going through this right now. Just remember that love can be multiplied through generations. A grandmother's love, it can be the bridge between what is lost and what is yet to be found. Your love comforts, organizes in ways that uplifts that we cannot, in ways we cannot measure. Like Mary, who sat at Jesus' feet, and Martha, who served faithfully. Grandmothers can embody both devotion and action. Every meal, every song, every quiet act of care becomes a sacred offering of love that strengthens the whole entire family. So just remember this: children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children, from Proverbs 17:6. And for our second anchor I can offer you today, rest. It's a sacred gift. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is rest in body, mind, and spirit.
Just keep going.
Anchor 3 is the legacy of encouragement. Words mailed in love travel farther than you know. Every note, every prayer, every whispered encouragement carries eternal weight. Your faith-filled words become threads that weave strength through generation. So just as your own mother's steady love, like our grandmama's love, it continues to echo in kindness to this day. In moments when you feel unseen, remember that there is love beyond the diagnosis. Thank you for joining me. I'm Andrea Richmond, and I'll look forward to our next episode. Live Tuesdays here on Talk Erie at 8:30 a.m. Ooh. So I had to. Ooh, that was not a good ending, but that's all right.
Well, that's because the computer skipped.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's all right. Like, that's all right to end it that way, right?
Yeah, that's it. There was 6 seconds left. So I took it off. I let it